Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
Join us as we explore the prize inside, looking at holistic health and extraordinary human potential.
Hi there.
Hi there.
The Prize Inside, a podcast dedicated to holistic living and unlocking your human potential.
right. Welcome, everybody. Sorry about that. A little out of practice there. So welcome to the Prize Inside, the 1% Tribe Edition. Was off last week. We were in the glorious place of New Brunswick, Canada with Rachel. It was fantastic. Our family got to have our family Christmas up there. We do it every couple of years because it's about 2,000 miles away from here. And it's so great. Her family is amazing. They have just the coolest group of people out there. And what I can tell you is, as a Michigan guy, I was thinking the Michigan guys are pretty good at the wintertime stuff. We're I don't know. We're pretty decent at it, like with the winds and the snow and everything. What I'm gonna tell you is ocean wind chill is insane. It is absolutely mind-numbingly. Oh, we had this thing once. One of the nights that we were there, we were coming from a Christmas party over to our place we were staying. And it was wild when you got out into the cold, into the stuff. It was like your soul left your body. That is how cold that was. That was intense, but weirdly, it was very soothing in the sense of, the air was so clean off the ocean. It felt like so clean. So it was just this, that ocean breeze you feel, in the summertime, and then why people go there because of the sun, the sand, the wind, all those kind of things. This felt like that, but it was just so bitter cold, which was hilarious. So we had a good time. We had adventures coming back, 2 delays in 3 situations, and somehow we made it back on time. I don't know how. My wife, and speaking of tonight's situation, we're going to talk about creating our own reality. And I had always wanted to be on this show, Amazing Grace, where you run in airports. I do not want to do that anymore. I'm good. I did our own little Amazing Race twice, to get there. So that was pretty awesome. Oh, yes. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. I know I tried to do a recording one. Not sure if I did it right. One of the nights came in correctly. The other night it didn't. So I got to learn my recording episode one, because I was going to do some replays. Why have these different ones just sitting in the background where we could, on a day, let's say I'm not, live, we could go and get a replay of, berberine or, turmeric or something like that, and just keep having that go so that people have that opportunity. So watch for that. I might do a replay show one night a week, that'll help me practice anytime I'm not on the air, because Sunday night I had it recorded to talk and it did nothing. So, but then Wednesday it did it correctly. So I don't know. I think it was me. Obviously, that's usually how it goes. But with that said, let's go into what we're going to talk to you guys about tonight, which is Rewire, Act, and Win. Practical steps to design your reality and to win. Practical steps to design the reality you want. And I thought this was a perfect time because we're right before the New Year's and everybody starts thinking that way. For me, New Year's has always been something that can be a really cool situation for a lot of people in mindset and all those kind of things. One time, I'm Catholic, so one of the things that we do is we do Lent, where we we give up something. Well, one of the times, one of our priests was saying, this is years ago, he was suggesting for Lent, instead of giving up things, how about we create things? And I think that is the spirit of, New Year's Eve. What am I going to do? And so I love that, as a thing, but I think we ask too many physical things. You know what I mean? I think we need to change our perspective on on what we're asking for. And so tonight is the night that I want to dive into the world that I really, really love, the visualization, the Mike Dooley's, the Esther Hitt, like all those people that I've brought up before. But give some interesting little like physical reality things. So I've talked many times on visualization and meditation. Tonight's going to be more about things you can do, right? I'll give you one that we're not going to talk about, but like a dream board, right? So something physical, you can actually, it's tangible, you can like do something with it. Okay. And so tonight I got about 8 or 9 really good ones, and we can go through them and kind of walk through that aspect. And then so without missing anything, like Julie never misses. Julie is also on the Rumble. So, oh, there it is. My boy. I should pull you in. Oh man. Oh, crap. I wonder if I could. Oh, you should see what my brother Ryan made me. It is fantastic. He is my whiskey rhino guy. I know how I could do this. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go on Facebook real quick. All right. So I apologize. Okay, so I want to show everybody Ryan. All right, here we go. I can check this. This guy's getting good, man. He's taken a concept. This is not just a little bit of something, right? He's creating, right? So I want to show you a great example of this. Opportunity. Okay. So my brother got an opportunity to do whiskey barrel situations, okay? And he is a package engineer by trade. So if you can look and see, these are signs, right, Ryan? So in the chat, tell me. So these are the signs. He's making charcuterie boards with all these awesome designs on there. Tons of signage, right? With the whiskey. These are real whiskey barrels. These are like legit whiskey. There's some great sign. Man, your Facebook is killing it. I really like these whiskey barrels, the whole thing. He knows how to do this. By the way, I have artichoke leaf. Delicious. It's pretty good tasting tea right now. But yeah, he'll do from the whiskey barrel to the signage. Here's a table. It's pretty amazing, like what he's doing. But what's happening is in the creation of it, me and him get to talk about. It's so exciting. Yeah, those are signs. So it's so exciting to see that kind of stuff, man. Like it's wild, like to see it just keep going. And hopefully I will be his number one sales guy that we'll have to negotiate, prices down the road, but I haven't sold any yet. So if you're watching, remember Whiskey Rhino, whiskey like you think, Rhino, RHINO, please get on there. Make us busy, or make him really busy, and me just getting to try to make him very busy. So I think this thing is fantastic, but it's kind of the essence of what we're going through tonight, right? So when we do these design the reality you want, you have to take the action, right? Visualization and meditation are great. They are the thing that sets you up for the day to be in that action, right? So if you set up your mindset correctly, like right from the beginning, you set that entire momentum up. Now we're sitting really good. Now we're going to add some actions to make sure that momentum's even stronger throughout with whatever you want to do. And so some of these are health, wealth, happiness, prosperity, all of these different things. And this is one of my favorite weeks to talk, even though I love the herbal side and everything else. There's some really good creators out there, and I want us to explore that. So with that, so it's called Whiskey Rhino. Remember that. Reach out on Facebook. I don't think, Ryan, you don't have a website yet, right? I don't think so. But if you do, let me know. But then before we get started, Remember, we have the prize inside on Rumble. I'm going to put that in the chat. Boom. We're going to do our YouTube channel's growing a little bit. I can see it happening. If you like YouTube, that one is in there. It's called At the Prize Inside You. So that one's fantastic. And then if you're a podcast person, and you could always get me on Spotify, all the alls in the podcasting. That's why I love podcasting. Podcasting, one of the things that's cool is there's not a lot of gates. There's not a lot of things you got to learn to do. You get a microphone and learn how to record it, and it's fantastic. So that is the coolest part of this whole thing, is that now that I've learned the live streaming, I love it because I get, my ultimate goal is to get like 20, 30 of us on here where we actually do a night where we just take conversation, And so that's what my ultimate goal is for 2026 on the podcast side. But let's go into how I'm going to make that happen. All right, here we go. You create your own reality from the prize inside. Here we go. The practical actions to succeed in creating your own reality. To apply this concept for life improvement, focus on consistent, actionable habits that align thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These steps draw from the authors and speakers that I've known and studied, emphasizing mindset shifts, daily practices, and self-awareness. Start small, track progress is what we're going to talk about tonight, and adjust as needed. Results build over time through repetition. Because remember, why do I say 1% every Sunday? Because my hope is my listeners will listen 1%. They'll hear an improvement. And by improving tomorrow, Monday, 1%, the next Monday, maybe it's 1.05, 1.01%. That's still a 52% improvement if you just improved listening to my podcast, let's say. But that's not going to happen. You're going to have many, many more opportunities. But imagine if you try to improve yourself 1% every single day. That self-improvement every single day leads to 360% improvement by any day. It beats all the S&P 500s, and that might actually even beat silver, wherever the heck that's going. Woo, that's crazy. Okay, here we go. So this is the first one. We're going to clarify your vision. Okay. So this is a big part. This is a big part of me. And I'll tell you why. Begin with a clear, detailed picture of what you want. Write it down. And if it's already true, I am living in abundance, or like as if it's already true. Sorry, I misread that. So write it down as if it's already true. I am already living in abundance. So this is what I would do. Use technique like Neville Goddard's Living from the End to feel the emotions now. And you do this for like 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. One thing I can tell you why this works. I'm going to give you an analogy of why this works. I see it all the time. I see it in my life. One of the things that I learned from Jerry and Esther Hicks was one part always stuck out to me when she said this thing. She had this big, beautiful house, and they had everywhere they had went and done a show or a presentation, they would pick up something from that area. So they had a nice collection of different things. Well, one day the shelf broke, and one of the pieces fell on the floor and broke. And they were living in abundance already, and so they were feeling pretty good about all that stuff. And she was so upset, because once you start living in a good place, this is another thing we're going to talk about. Once you start living and going, man, life is pretty good. Sometimes the blows that used to not be as bad for you can be worse, because what we used to say is the momentum of good positive aspects, right? Good positive aspects has a momentum to it. It's like you're driving down the car. One of my other favorite examples was how easy is it to, if you just push a car that's in neutral and you went in front of it and stopped it, that doesn't take a lot, right? But if my car's going 85 miles an hour down the road, it takes a minute to stop it. You're not going to jump in front of it, right? So what happens is we get on these good trains, positive, boom, huge financial or relationships, or we're over the moon in love, right? Or whatever it is, right? So we're going through and your momentum's pretty friggin' good, right? So, and all of a sudden, something back in the day that you weren't feeling as good, a tire did something, or, that kind of thing throws you off even more. So you have to remember that going forward. The more you start feeling these, the more good momentum you have. Remember, too, that it's a learning curve. You've not lived. I hate to be this way. I love all of you. We've not lived in a place of these wonderful thoughts. We've always think of negativity. And so that negativity gets in the way. It can dethrone you. And you have to be careful of that when we go through all these different actions. So this first one, the reason this is so important to me, and this is why it's number one, is because I am a squirrel dreamer. Okay. So I have all these different areas I want to do. I want to do this. I want to learn to wood carve. I got all the wood carving stuff in my shop right now. Have I touched it since my birthday in February? Nope. It's still in the bag. That is Jeremy. That is what happens a lot of times. Now, when I started getting good at the manifestation aspect, I started understanding, make sure your dreams are clear cut. When we're looking at this abundance, when we're looking at ultimate health, we're looking at those things. What does it look like? Get down to as much detail as you possibly can, because the more detail you have, and here's the best part, that detail is your imagination starting to go wild, right? Neville Goddard's concept is be here, like act as if you've already got it, right? So Ryan and I are going to, my dream, I already can see it in my head. We're going to have a shop called Whiskey Rhino, and we're going to be, helping this get to that level that it could be, but we have to visualize it. We have to do, but then what happens if we do that every day? We start seeing the shop, with the big job in the back, and then people are making their custom ones in a big store. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. But we have to start somewhere. You have to start with that dream in mind. And if you don't, every 5 or 10 minutes, Ryan, I got to show you too, by the way. We'll do a little visualization of this. Oh, where were we at? Oh, no. Oh, crap. Okay. Hang on. Near. Where were we? Oh my God, we went to this really cool place and I can't remember. Oh, that it is. Okay. Okay. Ryan, I'm going to show you something. This is what I want our shop to. We're going to do some visualization right now. Whiskey Rhino. Here we go. So, share screen. This has never been seen before. And it's an advertisement for this guy because this place was cool. Okay. This is when Rachel and I went to Hocking Hills, Ohio, and we did this hike, like a 3-day hiking trip, which was incredible by itself. Of course, we had this amazing momentum, right? So we have this amazing momentum that's happening based on having this wonderful time in Hocking Hills, Ohio. It was 95 degrees and the temperature didn't even feel like that. It was amazing. So we went hiking, and then we happened to see this place. It's called Jack Pine Studio. Okay. So Ryan, I want you to pay attention because I want to get, so these are all the cool, he does a lot of glass blowing, but what was cool was the setup of this place. Oh, show me some pictures. Here, let's see if they give us a studio shot. Okay. So in this studio, basically you're sitting around like a bar scene. And what happens is the glass blowing's in the back. So the glass blowing's in the back of this, just a nice big old building. Oh, come on. Give me some better pictures. And he has taught and trained all these glass blowing people to how to make some of these great things. Let me see if I can find. So remember, this is Hocking Hills, Ohio. Some of this art is just absolutely incredible. Oh, come on. Give me. It was in the middle of nowhere, though, which was crazy. It was basically a pole barn in the middle of nowhere with all the equipment for glass blowing. And not only was it equipment for glass blowing, it was a shop. If you can look at, here's a great picture. So he has this whole glass blowing thing, and he just opened this garage door, and here all of this is access to all your clients as well. So if you kind of look at this picture, he's doing some glass blowing in front of people as a demonstration. And the demonstration is here, but if you look behind there, right, that's where he keeps all the cool glass blowing stuff. Okay. Obviously successful. Obviously, like as you go, as you go through that, though, you can manifest. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that would be the perfect setup. When Ryan came on here, those two things come. Now, in the next few weeks or next few days, I'm going to have Ryan. I'm going to challenge him. What does this look like? Does it look like we're just doing it out of our garage and having a good time like we are currently, right? Like Ryan's having a great time doing this. And, is it going to be something like that? Or are we going for more, right? And so those are the kind of things you want to look at, because those type of situations are so fantastic. So there is the big thing. Clarify your vision. Clarify it. Don't make sure that you have these little tiny steps of manifestation going into your reality. I want to feel better. I want to run. I want my knee or my wrist or, something I want to have happen. And when I have good progress and good goals towards that end, it will happen for us. Okay. So you want to live from the end. So clarify your vision, write it down. It's okay. Look at it. Is it still your vision? Right? Whatever that may be. Right? It's so fun that way. Okay. But this one's a big one because of our conversations that we have with people. Okay. Practice positive affirmations and self-talk. Replace negative thoughts with empowering statements. I attract opportunities effortlessly. Versus, man, it sucks. Or I get on Rachel all the time. She has this thing where sometimes she'll be like, I'm tired. When she says that, it's just a reflex, right? So I try to break her of that little thing, and I have my own quirks and giggles, that kind of thing, where everybody gets negative on each other, those kind of things. We had waiting for our luggage. Once it got to the level of ridiculous, that's when my daughters got to see my negative side. I tried to stay positive up to our luggage wasn't getting off this thing, but they have found it and it's coming to us, which is great. So, but at the same time, it's super hard to keep that positive outlet in certain situations, right? So it doesn't matter. So Louise Hay's mirror work, saying affirmations while looking in the mirror, it helps rewire the subconscious beliefs. The reason this works, and you repeat this 3 to 4 times a day. So replace your negative thoughts with empowering statements like I attract opportunities effortlessly. Find them. Find empowering statements. Just Google it, right? Empowering statements in wealth, empowering statements in health, empowering, right? Once you do that, and then you start to statement it, but then look at the reality of it through the mirror, right? Or in the visualization, right? Because we talked about visualization with Mike Dooley. Those things, if you start to do that in the repetition, if you started with like a great meditation or visualization in the morning, energies come in, right? Energies come in, and they're going to knock you off your game. By having these empowering statements throughout the day, that momentum kind of keeps going for a 12-hour period. So think about that. That's pretty cool. All right. Cultivate gratitude. So cultivating gratitude. Start and end your day listing 3 to 5 things you are thankful for. I love this. I'm going to do this so much more in the writing aspect. I love it. 3 to 5 things that you are thankful for. In fact, after this, I'm going to do that. It raises your vibration. It gets that energy going, and you can see that things are starting to happen in that positive frame of mind. It could be a shitstorm all over, right? I'll give you our day a little bit yesterday. So we knew it was going to be kind of a tough thing. So where Rachel's from, there wasn't a flight back to where my car was, our original spot. We went over to Windsor, Ontario. So we drove over to Windsor, and then we got from Windsor, there's one to Toronto, and then you go to Rachel's hometown. Okay. On the way back, though, we had to go to Moncton, which is her hometown, to Ottawa, from Ottawa to Toronto, and then Toronto to Windsor, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot in a short period of time. And it started, the day was kind of rough. It was a magical morning. We got to go do a little shopping before we left. It was an afternoon, flight. So we did a little shopping right before we got on there. No, we'd be tired. We'd sleep on the plane. We get there, and the plane is already delayed like 2 hours. Okay. So it was about 2-hour delay on the first initial flight. And we're going, oh, that's a lot of dominoes to pass through. Well, what ended up happening was the first one was delayed so much that we had 2 minutes to make it to we had 10 minutes getting off the plane to make it to our next connection. So we sprint over there. In my head, I'm going, this can't be good for luggage. It's just not going to be good for luggage to be this fast and going Amazing Race style to the next one. So then we go to that one, and then we're like, oh crap. Like, so we're like, well, if we end up in Toronto, like, we could stay in a hotel. It's a beautiful town. And then we could just, take I can rent. It's only 3-4 hours, drive. And the weather was good. So I was like, all right, well, worst case scenario, if we miss the last flight, we can just go from Toronto to Windsor, right? Or, drive it. So as luck would have it, there was a delay on that flight. They were literally using the plane that we just got off of to fly Toronto to Windsor. So we're like, oh crap, we can get on that one. All right. So thinking in my head that this luggage situation can't be good with that thing, we started looking, because we had to go grab our luggage to get on this last one, we thought. So we're sitting, waiting for this luggage to come through. Finally, we were like, and thank goodness we sent Rachel over to say, hey, can we get on this last plane? Because we were supposed to be on it. And they were like, absolutely. But you have 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh God. So we, of course, go down to, we start running again. So we sprint to this Toronto one to get to Windsor, because it was the last one of that night. And it saved us, a rental and a 3-hour trip on the road. So we get all the way down to Windsor, kind of for sure that our luggage was going to be somewhere in that mix. And we got with the company, and they know where it's at, and we'll get it soon. So all of that happened, though. And the grateful part, though, how the heck did we pull that off? That was like 3 airplanes in one day. And once one you get delayed on, it's almost impossible to get the next 2. But somehow, by chance, we got all the way back home last night within an hour of when we probably would have went if all the flights went together, which is crazy. But in that mindset, if you stay grateful for what you got to do, I was very grateful I didn't have to drive 3 hours at 7 at night in Toronto to get to Windsor, right? And so all of that worked out in the end, and it was such a grateful moment. So just throwing that one out there, I thought cultivate gratitude. Just remember that one, 3 to 5 things you're thankful for every single day. Even if it's the smallest thing, it's really fun and it adds so much power. So think of these as like superpowers. Each one you add is going to highlight you a little bit more, right? So we're going to add these up, and then the energetics will just get you to where you want to go. Okay, so we know about this. Hopefully you are the Prize Inside subscriber. So we do meditation and visualization, 10 to 20 minutes daily in meditation or visualization, focusing on the different aspects that we've gone over. But I really want you to, this is more studying that we're going to talk about this guy in his books and his work, Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza when we're going to kind of dive into his work at some point as a whole class in itself. He believes in this thing called he believes it's true. It's called heart-brain coherence. Heart-brain coherence, in a nutshell, for me, is all of the senses, right? So we take all of the senses and we combine it into a great rhythm. So if your heart chakra, basically, if your heart chakra energy is combined with your brain energy, right, and all your body's energy, you can really start changing and manifesting the various things you really want to do. And this is another level of meditation. And his teaching, he goes into a lot of those things, like even deeper, than us kind of hitting it up on the side. I would say when meditation hit me years ago, is such a powerful tool. When I actually got into the rhythm of a true meditation, it changed my world. I mean, I felt so different. And until you get there, until you understand that feeling, it won't make sense to you, right? And that's the same with visualization. Mike Dooley was my favorite visualizer, but my favorite that I've ever done was this guy named Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer had a phenomenal audio on meditation and visualization, where he walks you through an incredible visualization or meditation practice. I don't even know if they make the tape anymore, which sucks because I've been trying to find it just to have you guys like walk through it. So, because it is incredible, like the way he walks it through, his voice, fantastic. But what happens is you have this heart has an energy, your brain has an energy, all of those. Once they're in coherence, once all of those things are manifesting in that direction, it adds a superpower to what you're visualizing, what you're creating in your reality, right? We're going in the positive aspects of things. So just remember that. If you haven't watched the full visualization one of Mike Dooley, go watch that. That'll help you a little bit even more. And Esther Hicks, we go over her a lot in that as well. Notice and release negatives. Okay. Identify limiting beliefs. I am not worthy. This I hear all the time. I heard all the time gets me going every time, because when we identify that limiting belief, we can change some things if people go, that makes sense, right? So identify those limiting beliefs that you might say a lot. Even ask your loved one, like your wife or your kids or something. Is there something I say that's negative all the time? If there is, notice it, right? Because sometimes you won't notice it because it's just so subconsciously ingrained in our bodies. Not only would you literally change your mindset of how those things go, that, like as you go, just changing that perspective is so good. One that I noticed, running a company, right? So running my chiropractic clinic, the amount of people that have kind of a negative, it's not anything bad. It doesn't mean they're not wanting to be there, but there's such a negative thing about going back to work, right? Even the negative emotion of going back to work doesn't do you any good. It actually hurts you in a sense, right? So what we want to do is make sure that when we do these things, we're really promoting getting that going, right? So going back to work. Let's go back to work. Let's not go back to work. Let's go meet some people. Let's go do something else. Like change the perspective, because that subconscious is not something that is ingrained in you per se, right? It was a trained program. And that trained program is what we have a major problem with. Is the trained program is just this conscious belief pattern that keeps running in the background. But remember, in epigenetics, we can change all of that. And it starts with this kind of things. So notice and release those negative belief patterns and get help for this one. Okay. All right. Take aligned action. Okay. Act as if your reality is already shifted. Okay. So I've already, I'll use Ryan as an example. We'll do it tonight. I've already got his visualization in that I've just mimicked the Jack Pine Studio glass blowing place, right? This artist creates this giant glass blowing place, and it's so popular. It's so popular, it didn't even matter where it is. It's not even close to where we hiked. It just had a nice big sign pointing down there, and that place was packed all the time. It was crazy. And some of the artistry in there was just magnificent. So I already got the visualization going. My next move is to have Ryan go down there and and check it out, or we'll go down together and just see this place. It was insane. But what you want to do is act as if your reality is already shifted. If manifesting a job, network that way, right? You're trying to manifest the best job you can possibly do. You're going to reach out to the best you can possibly do. This is where Tony Robbins comes in, which is a big player in this game. Tony Robbins stresses bridging thoughts with steps to avoid surgery. Let synchronicities guide. Okay. So it's a step process, just like chiropractic and wellness, right? It's a step process so that you don't have to have a major surgery to change these realities, right? So the only way we can do that is small steps each and every day. Each and every day will get us there, okay? So let the day kind of guide you, but have aligned action plan within each day, okay? All right. Test and iterate. Okay. So this is a big one, because not all of these different scenarios and all of the there's tons of them out there, right? Action steps that you can take, but it might not be the thing. So you want to keep finding action steps, testing them, and see how your reality goes. Mine, I want to visualize in the morning, usually meditate at night. Some months I will switch that. I have a dedicated list of what I'm going to visualize. Each and every month I've been changing it, which has been pretty incredible. I have to say, before I would do a visualization on something different every night, but now I'm kind of switching that. What I'm working on currently is defining my new vision, right? For 2026 and beyond. I'm getting into that, and I put some work in, right? And so if you put the work in, then you create a test, right? So see how it's going after a few months or so. Apply the texture test. Push gently on your goals and see what resists or flows. Track wins in a success journal to build belief. So you track the wins, right? Track the wins to build the belief. And this is huge in every manifestation. So I use like papers like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy journal, but if you're doing it every single day, you can put within that journal 5 things you're grateful for, and then see how that day did. Did the manifestation come because I did this action? All right. So I aligned with my actions, right? So I started for Ryan, it'll be, did I reach out? Did I do a Facebook post? Did I, reach out to a restaurant, say if you need something, whatever that is, right? You made an aligned action to something else that you wanted to make, bigger than it is, right? And I think, once you start doing those things, that's why I love watching the ones that are successful are truly creative, right? They're artists. They don't know. They're in the flow of good energy. So they make all kinds of mistakes, probably, let's say financially, right? But they end up being the ones that are successful. Why? Because their good energy of creation is not worrying about the little nuances, like those kind of things. Like we say, the universe will give you, God gives you those things, but you have to want it. You have to, ask for it. Those are the kind of things. Okay. Hopefully I said that correctly, but track the wins in a journal, see how it's going. If it's not, change your positive aspects, change what you need, right? Maybe yours isn't, 3 to 5 gratitude things, right? Maybe it's a image board where you get what house you want and all these things, and you put them on this visualization board. Maybe that's what you need. Okay. All right. This one's a big one, and I'm really thinking about doing this, and I'm not sure how to do it yet. I want it to be, I'll probably have a local group because I really want to start it this way. So surround yourself with support. Okay. So surround yourself with support. All right. Reading books, listening to podcasts, The Prize Inside. I'll give you another one, Natasha Graziano, or join communities, right? So hopefully we'll build up a community like online. I think it's the easiest and most what I want to do is have meetups, right? But knowing that and having a setup where even if you can't meet up, you still are able to, right? So I want to figure out that part. But you want to reduce exposure to the doubters. And I cannot stress about this one enough. And I don't mean this in any way or form. There's people in your life that once you start doing this stuff may not be at the end, right? They might not be at the end because sometimes it might not even be them. It might be just a subconscious negativity that keeps getting into the crawl of what is happening, right? So some people you'll never make it, or that pictures, maybe you should go, do welding, whatever it is. There's always a little negativity sometimes, right? Or people that are so stuck in their subconscious, and we all have this, that nothing's ever going to heal them. Nothing's ever. And it's hard to have those conversations. Ryan runs into this at the gym. I'm never going to look like you, man. It's not about that. It never has been. Stop having that conversation. You're only hurting yourself. I'm never going to look like you. Why would that be a goal? No one wants to look like anybody else. That's weird. But if you start to understand, what you're telling yourself is what you're getting. That's the reality that happens, right? So anyway, read books, listen to podcasts, or join communities. Reduce exposure to doubters, right? Focus on environments that reinforce your creative mindset. So that is awesome. So that's what you want to do. Okay. So to end tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I always love this one, so it goes really good. What are we going to do for our 1% tribe tonight? We're going to start creating our own creation plan. What are we going to put in it? We're going to visualize. We're going to put our gratitude down. We're going to test it. We're going to test what we're doing. What are we going to do for actions that align with things? What do you plan on implementing these changes in when do you plan on implementing these changes in your life? I would say now, so then when you get to New Year's, you can enjoy yourself and have a plan, right? Test your results. Remember, this is not a one size fits all solution, right? Or situation. We have to really get out there and take it to that next level, but it could be totally different. Look up positive things you can do in your life, as actionable steps. And we need to understand that as we are changing our lives one step at a time, it's going to take some time, but the energy is exponential. So that energy becomes this beautiful exponential thing that really, really can start adding up, and it's kind of amazing the stories that you hear of people that are, dedicated to it, and sometimes it's not going to come overnight for sure, but, you can pretend it did. That's the best part. Life is like that, right? It's this beautiful game of that kind of thing. So with that said, I am going to leave you adieu. I will get back on. So remember, Wednesday night, we'll have Whole Health Weekly, where we go over a bunch of different aspects of various topics, whatever's hot on the internet for holistic living. And so with that, I hope you guys had a great night. And by that Wednesday night is 8:30, and that'll be it. So watch out for the next episode on next Sunday night. I think we're going into some herbs. I think we'll go after some herbs. If you have any suggestions for herbs, let me know. We can actually hit that one up. So if you have those, let me know. And with that, you guys have a great night. Take it easy.
Join us as we explore the prize inside, looking at holistic health and extraordinary human potential.
Hi there.
Hi there.
The Prize Inside, a podcast dedicated to holistic living and unlocking your human potential.